Hey guys, North Bank here, and today I'm going to be making a video about fishing lures. So, I love fishing lures. I make them. As you can see, they're all over right here. And I like fishing as well, obviously, because that's what you do with fishing lures. But honestly, I think I might like fishing lures more. I don't know why. They're so cool because they can all do different things, and there's so much difference between them all and varieties and everything. So I'm just going to be showing you my tackle box, what I like to fish with, my favorite lures, and a lot of the custom ones I have made as well. So here's my tackle box. It's kind of a nerdy, one of these piano boxes, but it works pretty well. It keeps all my stuff together. So I'm just going to be showing you guys some of my lures. So let's switch to looking at this. So I'd like to say that I primarily like catching northern pike. That doesn't mean that these are all northern pike lures, not even close to it, but those are just my favorite fish to catch, so I do have a lot of northern pike lures. So anyways, it's all dusty right now. It kind of looks gross because they've got a bunch of sawdust in here. First, let's go over some of the custom ones I have. So obviously it's winter now and all the lakes are frozen around me, so I haven't loaded this thing up yet for the next season. So I just have a few custom ones. Right here is a custom made grandma lure, and when you throw it in the water it really just has a bunch of action. I've never caught anything on it, but I'm hoping to this year, so that's in the bottom here. This is my big like muskie section down here. I've never caught a muskie, I'm just gonna be honest. Next we have this like glide bait I made. This is just like a one of a kind I made, and it's got this paddle tail. It's kind of a junk bait, but it's pretty cool. So it actually has if you look at this tail, I put a hook in the bait, so if anything bites on the tail, it's gonna get the hook. It's a weedless hook. And then there's also a little hook right there. So this one's really cool because you can fish it way down low and just pull it along, and it has a really good action. Next, I don't even know why this is in there. This doesn't even have hooks on it, but this is a pretty cool. It's a pike lure, I bet. Or, I mean, a bass could eat this as well, but it's supposed to look like a pike. This one has a really cool action to it. So anyways, what else do I have in here? I just have some like pliers, a knife, I don't know why this is in the bottom, but spinner bait. And then back here I got all like the blades, gulp, bobbers, weights, Senkos. Oh, here, look at this. This one sucks, I'm just gonna say it right now. It's pretty bad, but I don't know, it's pretty cool. I made this a long time ago. It's supposed to be like a little sunfish, but I'm a lot better at making baits now. And then I just have a huge musky bucktail in the bottom here. So now let's look at what's up here. So, you know, I just have crankbaits and stuff. Here's just two crankbaits. I don't really use crankbaits, I'm just gonna be honest right now. I don't know. I prefer more like longer type baits. And I don't like how deep they go. I don't know. Just not my favorite. I want to start using them though. Next I have some weird stuff. Here's just like an old Rapala from back in the day. And then here is the mouse lure, or maybe it's a rat. Yeah, it's a mouse. And this thing is so weird. I have nothing else like it, but it works so well. I've caught so many bass on this. I don't know why bass just love it, but they do. And this is pretty old too, like look, that's all metal connected together. So anyways, yeah, that's that section. And then I just have some weights right there. We were fishing with minnows and stuff. And then here I got all my like ultra light tackle, just like a bunch of mini stuff. Oh, here's a cool one. This thing, I haven't used it yet because I just found it, but it's so cool. It's like a ultra light popper. Can you guys even see it? It's so tiny. Oh man, that's gonna be fun. Hopefully I can catch like sunnies on it. That's what I'm hoping. Sunnies and crappies and stuff. Next I have this hair jig with just like a tail on it. This thing actually works really well, and I caught a bass on it. Next we have this. I have not used this because I got it like right at the end of fishing season. But look at it, it's pretty cool, right? It's got like the big paddle tail. What is this even called again? A chatterbait. A chatterbait, that's what it's called. And yeah, I'm excited to use that next year. And then we also just have like a weedless thing, and and then some of these guys, some of these smaller ones for like walleye. Put them back in here. So next we just have this huge, I think this is just called a crankbait. Yeah, it's a big crankbait. It's not a jerkbait, just look how big that lip is. This thing dives deep, and listen to all that noise. I was using this in Duluth on Lake Superior, and it dives down so deep. Unfortunately I didn't catch anything, but anyways, we got another one kind of just like it right next to it. It barely fits in my tackle box. Alright, so next we got this self-swimming lure, and I swear to God this is the coolest lure I've ever seen. So first of all, it's beautiful. It's like a rainbow trout, and it just has beautiful colors on it. Second of all, it swims by itself. It's got a little, here, I'm gonna focus on it. It's got a little propeller right there, and when you drop this thing in water, it starts swimming around. So how you actually fish this, if you're wondering, you have a bobber hooked up to the top, so you put it like 4 feet down, cast it out, like in some area that's not weedy, because you don't want this thing to just get caught in weeds and get all messed up. So anyways, you cast it out in somewhere, and this thing just swims around. It has remote control patterns. It like goes straight, turns, stops a little bit, pauses, lets something eat it or something, just keeps going around. It does all these crazy patterns and mimics a real fish. And see, I haven't gotten to use this yet, but I'm going to use it for ice fishing, and hopefully I'll catch something with it ice fishing. It sounds good. And yeah, it just mimics like a minnow or whatever kind of small fish. And I'm really excited to use it, and I'll show more of it swimming at the end of the video. But I'm just going to put that back for right now. I also need to charge it up. But yeah, it charges up, and it may sound kind of weird, but it holds a charge for like 4 hours. I'm really tripping over my words right now. Anyways, next we got all my worms and stuff. Just gonna be honest, I don't really use any of these Senkos and stuff. I don't know why. I'm not that big of a bass fisherman, to be honest, and all this stuff is just like a different world for me. So I just got all these weedless Senkos. I like this, I guess. I caught a huge crappie on this, which is crazy. I didn't think crappies could even bite that big. And yeah, I just have a bunch of weedless worms and Senkos and stuff. I honestly have not, or I think I've caught one fish on a Senko, one bass on a Senko, which is kind of embarrassing. And I'm gonna need to use that stuff this summer, but I never got into it. Anyways, now my top layer. So this is where I use most of the stuff from, and I just got a lot of shiny stuff. And this right here is this is a really good bait. So it's a Bagley. I don't even know what the name of it or what it is, but when you throw it in the water, it just goes or when you reel it in, it just goes crazy like this. And I've caught like 2 fish on it. I'm not gonna lie, it's really cheap, and the lip broke off the first time I got it, but I just super glued it back in, and I've had no problem since. And it's just made of balsa wood, and it's super good. Next, I just have this this jerk bait right here. I've caught a few fish on it, just a few pike, and it works pretty well. I thought I was buying a crankbait because the time I bought this, I knew nothing about lures. So what's next? Next, we got some of these. I think people just call them blades. They're technically spoons, I'm pretty sure. I have not really used these, but people say they're really good when the water gets cold. So I haven't really gotten to use them. And I also got a smaller one with no hooks on it right now. But yeah, I really need to try those out. So what next? I got some, like my top water section. I got one of the, I think these are called spy baits. And these work pretty well for making a disturbance in water. And next I got a, this is called a hula popper. I feel like it had some, what's it called, like feathers or hairs coming off the back of it at one point. But yeah, it's just your typical popper. You pull it along, pops the water. Caught a few bass on it. Pretty cool lure. Next I have this. I've gotten a few bass on this as well. This is called the Crazy Crawler. So it basically just crawls through the water like this and makes like a lot of disturbance. And it works pretty well. I mean, I caught a bass in like really cold water with it, which is pretty crazy because usually they don't hit top water, I feel like. So next we got spoons. I used to really like spoons, but to be honest, I don't even really use them anymore. But they still work just because I don't use them. And I just have a bunch of pretty ones. Not gonna lie, these are pretty cheap and not that good, but whatever, they're cool. So what do I got? 5 of them here. These are just 2 basic silver ones. This one is cool in concept, but I've never caught a fish on it. This one is also cool in concept, and I did catch a few fish on this one, but this one's probably the best one I have. I've gotten like 3 or 4 pike on it. Works pretty well. But yeah, anything silver and moves around, fish will bite eventually. So those worked well. Next, the staple of any fisherman's box, a Mepps spinner. So this is just your typical Mepps, I think it's a 5, Mepps 5 Agila, I don't even know how you say that. But yeah, you throw it in the water, this blade spins around, and then fish just bite it like crazy. It's a good lure, and yeah, everybody should have one. Next, we got some weedless spoons. A lot of people love these. I've caught a few fish on them, but I don't know if I love them. They're not that cool to me. I like lures that are cool, which is kind of a flaw. If you actually want to be good at fishing, you just should use what works, but I kind of like lures if they're cool. These ones are kind of cool, I don't know. Anyways, next we have two things that I made. Here's a really just awful spinner I made. Just horrible. Look at that. It's just horrible. Next we have this little tiny spoon I made. I don't know if it's for trout or for what. Maybe it would be good for that. I just made it out of like a fork or something. But it works pretty well. You throw it in the water, spins around, has a little hook on it. What else can you say? Next in my tackle box, I just have a bunch of these little jig heads. I don't really use them that much, but they're good for doing stuff with. Next I got all these little trout spinners. I kind of like these. They're nice. They catch trout really well. Nothing else to say about that. I think they're Panther Martin. But that's so pretty. Look at that. Let me zoom in. That deserves to be zoomed in on. Look how pretty that is. Wow. All right, what next? I just have like a Swiss Army knife, basically, and then a knife sharpener. Oh, look what else I have in here. This tiny, tiny little minnow. This is a rubber minnow. I need to actually use this. It's pretty cool. I'd love to catch like a sunfish on it. Next, what else do we have? We have this. I think this is called a pumpkin seed. I've never caught anything on it. It looks kind of cool, but it's pretty lame, honestly. Next we got a frog. Frogs obviously work really well in certain times of the year and certain times. So yeah, everybody needs a frog. What else do we have in here? We have one of these. What are they called? A lipless crankbait. What else? I don't know. They have all kinds of names, but they rattle and they swim really well. And I actually really like this one. What else? We just have another one of these swim baits. What is this even? A swim bait. This is a nice one. It's got two blades on it. One's dimpled, one's not. I've never caught anything on a spinner bait because I thought they looked stupid and I thought nobody used them. But I've seen so much good about them that I'm going to start using them next year. So yeah. This is my tackle box. I've shown you everything in here. So now let's talk about some other lures that I made. Oh wait, I have to put these back. Let's talk about some lures that I've made. So I made a bunch of these little lipless crankbaits. They're pretty nice. They're pretty. See them? You can buy these if you want. I have an Instagram account that I'm selling baits on right now, so I'll just link that below if you want to go buy some of these baits. All of these baits are listed that I'm showing you. Here's another one. This is just like an injured fish. I know it's not focused, whatever. And then here, this is probably the best bait I've ever made right here. It's a swim bait, shaped like a perch. It has beautiful action, looks exactly like a fish. See, it only has one joint. But that joint is enough to make this thing look so much like a fish. Sorry that these things are all covered in sawdust. But I'm selling this one on my Instagram as well. And oh my god, I caught a pike on it, the first cast I've ever tried it. And I also caught another bass on it, the second cast I've ever tried it. It works so well. Nothing else to say about this. It's pretty though. It's really pretty. Alright, next I just have this. This is just kind of like an experiment. It's just like a really shiny crankbait. Flat-sided crankbait. Nothing else to really say about it. I haven't even tried it, to be honest. And then now let's talk about musky baits. So I make musky baits as well. So if you fish for musky and you want one of these, just go to my Instagram and I'll sell you one. Look at how pretty that is. Oh my god. Look at how cool that is. It's so pretty. Look at the face detail. That's so cool. And then look, it's got a big tail spinner on it too. And this thing swims around like woo, woo, woo. So it's kind of a trolling bait, I'd say. It's kind of too big to cast unless you got a big pole. What am I gonna say? 3 coats of epoxy on this thing. Just beautiful. Overall beautiful. Fish would bite this like crazy. Next, we just got a smaller version of it. So here's like the littler one. Same whole concept. Everything's the same. And yeah, big lip on it, goes like, swims like this. And these all come with 3/0 hooks if you buy one. And then finally, we have the big lipless crankbait. This thing is so cool to me. All these have 3 coats of epoxy, by the way. Really thick epoxy. And this thing just, you know, it's a lipless crankbait. It just swims along like that. It's a good trolling bait. And it's got a, it doesn't have a rattle in it. The other ones have a rattle in it. But I can put a rattle on one of these if you guys want me to. Anyways, what next? Oh, here's the biggest bait I've ever made. Look at how big this thing is. Literally my forearm, not quite, but pretty much my forearm long. I think this is a foot long or something. It's got a big tail, but I don't know if it works too well. I didn't put enough weight in it, so then I ended up having to just strap this piece of lead to it to see if it worked. And I think it does work, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to test this thing out more. It's so ridiculous. I was trying this at a lake I go to, and people were just looking at me like, "Is this kid stupid? What? This is bigger than 90% of the fish in this lake." So yeah, that's a big one. Oh, you want to see the first bait I've ever made too? Check this out. This is called the Orca. It used to have fins on the sides here, but they broke off. And look at, it's just kind of cool. I mean, it didn't work, it did work, but it didn't work too well. As you can see, that lip right there, that lip would not work too well. But it swam and stuff, and it was kind of cool. It was my first bait, and I'm not ashamed of it. It looks awesome. What else? Oh, I'm working on this right now. It's gonna be a big glide bait, and it's gonna have a tail on it. It's supposed to be a walleye. And it's gonna have one of these big gold tails at the end of it. So yeah, we just talked about lures for a long time, and I think some of you guys really like lures. So yeah, that's a video. This is just a quick video, completely unscripted, no flex. And yeah, do you guys want a video on how to make like a hard bait? I think I might just do that anyways because it sounds kind of fun. So if you want to buy any of these lures that I showed you that I made, just go to the link in the description, and then you can go to my Instagram where I'm selling them from. And I think if you want to buy one, I'll just sell it to you through like eBay, or you can just PayPal me or Venmo me, and then I can just send it to your house. So yeah, thanks for watching this video. If you want more lure type videos, more stuff like that, then just comment that. But I'm making a bunch more lures. Like, these are only half of them right now. I have a bunch of them that I'm in the process of making. Like this one right here, I'm making 3 of them right now, but I haven't finished them yet, so I couldn't show them to you today. But yeah, I can make you lures. I'm not gonna charge too expensive either. Like, this thing's listed on my Instagram as 50 bucks right now because I don't really want anyone to buy it because I really like this one. But I'll sell you like another one. The one I'm making is gonna be better than this one. It'll look prettier because I actually know how to paint now. But yeah, I'll sell you one of these for probably 20, maybe less. I mean, they're pretty hard to make, to be honest. But yeah, and then one of these little crankbaits like this one, less than 10, I'll probably sell it to you for like 8 bucks. Look at how pretty that eye is. Wow. Alright, so hope you enjoyed this video. This has been your host, North Bank, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.